Welcome to the Lake Doctor Podcast. This is Season 3, Episode 2. I'm Susie Light, and with me is...
Dr. Nate Bosch.
My favorite lake nerd.
Thank you.
What are we going to talk about today,
Well,
Nate?
I'm excited because today we have one of our Lilly Center staff members, Emily Anderson. She's our education coordinator. And we're going to talk about the importance of hands-on education and even try some educational activities ourselves.
And one of the hands-on activities that Emily does with students that come here during field trips, Dr. Nate is going to do, and you have got to watch the surprise he has. It is really funny. Please make sure you share this, like it, comment, especially comment about Nate's reaction to the hands-on activity. It's hysterical. The doctor is in. Welcome to this episode of the Lake Doctor Podcast. I'm Susie Light, and today joining us, Nate. I think Emily's one of your students.
She is.
Former student.
Former students. Let's be technical about
That's
that.
right. But
So,
now,
she's full-time at the
Full-time.
Lilly Center.
tell us, Emily, what is your job at the Lilly Center?
Yes, I am one of our education coordinators. I get to help execute and facilitate all of our K through 12 programming here at the Lilly Center, which involves field trips during the school year and lots of fun education programs during the summer as well.
So a field trip when students maybe in first grade up to high school?
Typically, we have kindergarten through 6th grade visit us during the school year, but we love having our older students visit as well.
And the students come from all over Kosciuszko County?
Yes, all over Kosciuszko County. We got over 10 different elementary schools and a couple private schools, some scout groups, some homeschool families in our doors this past school year. We typically see them 3 times a week during the school year.
And where you're located at the Lilly Center, we're laughing like we've invaded your space, haven't we?
You kind of have, to a degree. So
For the podcast
For the
recordings,
podcast,
you're
yes,
saying.
this is episode 2, season 3, new set design.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
And Emily, thanks for sharing your space. We're an invasive species.
no, you're just an exotic species today.
Oh, okay, I'll take that. We'll be exotic.
We like to measure our reception in the community by saying connections. So this past school year, the 2025 to 2026 school year, we made over 10,000 student connections, and that's kindergarten, well, preschool, honestly, all the way to high school.
That is amazing. Yes. And that's what, from September until May?
August into June. Yeah.
And we do some preschool programs in the summertime, right? With one of our preschool partners.
We do. I have the scar on my pinky to prove it right now. We partner with Presby Preschool to take about 20 of their preschool students who are attending nature camp, and we fit them into teeny tiny preschool-sized waders.
They are the cutest chest waders ever.
They're so cute. It's a really pretty teal color, and they are a little nervous and apprehensive unless they're a second year. And we welcome them to Lucerne Park, and they get into Pike Lake and explore to see all that they can find with dip nets. They have little shovels, some magnifiers. We let them just kind of go wild, but not too wild, as my finger
Yeah,
shows.
how'd you get the scar? Like waders?
So I had a very enthusiastic little one who, her boots were a little too big for her feet, even though they were the smallest size, and she was tripping, and in my effort to catch her, my poor pinky got scraped.
Aw.
So, but
Well,
she
Did you
survived.
save her?
She didn't drown,
Okay.
obviously.
Thank goodness. So how did you start your journey? And tell us about, how did you come to Grace College, and how did you end up here?
Yeah. I'm the oldest of 6, so I definitely grew up with a lot of opportunities to be an educator, aka I was really a bossy older sister. And I've always enjoyed working with kids. It was part of that nurturing growing up and being the eldest sister. And my parents were super awesome and encouraged us to spend a lot of time outside. We were never locked outside, but we were most definitely encouraged to go be outside so that mom could take a breather. We spent a lot of time camping. Being such a large family, it was much more easier and more feasible to just go on a camping trip in September as our family vacation instead of maybe a cruise in the middle of July. So we spent a lot of time out in nature. My family is very invested into different scout groups. And so I have grown up spending recreation outside. And there was a couple distinctive moments as a teenager that really instilled a personal passion for talking about the outdoors with students. The earliest that I can remember was probably in 4th or 5th grade. My family was living in Cincinnati, Ohio at the time, and we visited the Cincinnati Zoo, which is such a large zoo. I haven't been in a while, but I was blown away with all of the creatures. And then I turned around and I saw teenagers who, to 4th or 5th grade me, they were just a year or two older than me, but they were herding around these large penguins, like chinstrap penguins. And I turned to my mom and I was like, Mom, I want to do that. Can I do that? Like, who doesn't want to shepherd penguins around a zoo? And she was very kind. She was like, okay, well, we'll do our research when we get home. We'll see. Lo and behold, I was much too young to be a zoo teen at the Cincinnati Zoo. But flash forward in high school, we were living in Evansville, Indiana, and I volunteered for 5 summers at the Evansville Mesker Park Zoo and Botanical Gardens and did a lot of really fun outreach education through that volunteer opportunity. We worked both with adults and visitors who came to the zoo, talking about a wide variety of conservation topics. But our primary goal, primary job at the zoo as volunteers was to work with their students who were attending a day camp 5 days out of the week. And we just got to walk around with the kids, help them with their activities, answer any of their questions. So I have never actually shepherded around penguins, but I have shepherded around little kids, rescued water bottles, had to go tell zookeepers that there was a water bottle in an enclosure or two. And that really encouraged my love for being outside and appreciating all different kinds of creatures, all the way from roly-polies to huge giraffes. So as I approached college, I was thinking and praying about what I would want to do. And I really, really enjoyed the sciences, and I thought that being a science teacher would be really fun. So I started exploring different smaller universities across the Midwest, and Grace had been recommended by some family members who were alumni. And so I applied to Grace, I applied to a couple other different universities, entered Grace's presidential scholarship opportunities that they have every school year. And God was just super generous, and I was awarded one of those scholarships, making Grace the most feasible. And Grace offered a secondary science education degree at the time. And so that was what I enrolled in. Very, very excited. Lo and behold, one of the very first classes I took as a freshman was your general ecology class.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. General ecology class. And I loved it so much. I'm sure you've heard many amazing stories about it, from the coursework to the labs. I found it so engaging and fun.
And hands-on.
So hands-on. We were in waders. I had never been in waders prior to that. I didn't really grow up around lakes. We had lots of woods and streams around us, but lakes were this whole new thing to get to explore and just have fun exploring. I loved the way the class was taught. And I remember feeling really sad that it was coming to an end, and I was looking at my courses for the rest of my time at college, and I was just feeling a little bummed out that that was my last super fun science class. So I started reaching out to some of the advisors on campus. I talked to Dr. Jeff Rensel, I talked to Denise Terry in our Career Connections Center, asking what other opportunities there might be, what other careers could be involved with science and education that maybe wasn't the traditional middle school, high school science teacher. I didn't want to feel so constrained to one specific career. And they recommended considering switching to an environmental science degree, but then keeping maybe a psychology or an education or a business minor. and just having a little bit more flexibility. They encouraged me to explore different internships to affirm or to reroute that choice. And so February of my freshman year, I switched my degree from secondary science education to environmental science, and then I pursued an education minor, and I've never regretted it since. I loved getting to dive into education, especially children's psychology, adult psychology, which the education minor allowed for. But then I got to take so many more awesome science classes like aquatic ecology, astronomy. I took some plant biology, really enjoyed that. And so that landed me more skills. I had started working at the Lilly Center as a freshman, as an intern. I thought that this was such a cool opportunity for a student that was very similar to what I had done at the zoo. So I thought, well, why not? I think I can do it. I'll just do it and see what happens. Quickly fell in love with it. I loved the format. I loved the lessons we taught. Thought the staff was awesome. So I stuck with that. And 3.5 years later, I graduated and had been told that there might be an opportunity. And I applied. The rest is history, I guess.
So throughout your whole educational process, you personally have experienced hands-on learning.
Yes.
And that was transformative in your choice for college degree.
Yes.
And now, how important is it for the students that are coming to you as the education coordinator here? How important is that hands-on learning?
I believe it is so important to be able to communicate the important information in a most meaningful way. And often the hands-on method is what's going to be most memorable and what will most connect the students to the topic. Because I could have 6th graders sitting in front of me and I could tell them that lakes are stratified and that there's temperature differences. I could tell them there's a thermocline, a hypolimnum. But it's not really going to stick until they do the science experiment and actually see the chemistry in motion and see the separation of the water layers, which, of course, that example can be applied to any other ecological concept.
So, Emily, you brought today an example of one of the hands-on projects you have for students.
Yeah.
Tell us about what this is.
I did. So in front of you guys, beforehand, you guys each picked out your favorite aquatic creature to color. Now, I didn't give you a million options, so unfortunately you don't have the snake in front of you, but
I would not have picked the snake.
I think we should give Dave the snake.
No.
these coloring pages are one of our favorite hands-on tools to use with our kindergarten through 3rd grade students. So here in our learning lab during the school year, we love talking to the kids about fish because fish are such prominent creatures in our local lakes. So we are going to color these coloring pages to the best of our ability, and we will see what happens.
I'm a really good
at
colorer,
the end.
Susie.
Do you think that there's a reason she gave us a kindergarten level project? Okay.
I'm trying not to read into that.
If you
Okay.
want to challenge yourselves, we could go to the 2nd grade level. At 2nd grade, we spend time with the students observing all of our awesome aquariums in the lobby, and we talk about we talk about different fish features, and then we encourage the kids to replicate that, thinking about camouflage and how they can best create camouflaged critters.
So we're trying to
Okay.
do camouflage coloring right now.
Yes.
It's not me. I'm doing a psychedelic pumpkin seed.
Well,
So,
if it's in a psychedelic environment, then that might work.
okay, Nate,
Yeah.
the hands-on project that we're doing is one of the things that's a key feature of this learning lab.
Right.
Can you color and tell us about
No.
some of the features?
So I will try.
Please try.
I'll put my marker down.
Okay.
I can't do more than one thing at a time. Yeah, so we're in the learning lab right now, and when we designed this space, we did things like we have electric boxes which pull down from the ceiling. We have a drain in the floor, hard floor, so that if things get really wet or dirty in here, if we need to put microscopes out on tables, there is a lot of cabinetry with different hands-on sorts of equipment and supplies we can pull out. And so just outside the door of our learning lab is our lobby space with lots of aquariums, so there's great educational opportunity as well. We built this educational space with growth in mind, and so when we have larger groups come, we have a circular classroom over here which we can overflow into. Even our loading dock down the hall we had to convert into another teaching space. We have our aquarium lab, which has all of our critters that are ambassadors going out to the community to learn about our lakes and our streams. And then we built research spaces up above us. We have a couple research labs, one that we're using currently, another that we can move into. Collaboration space like our conference room and our staff and student collaboration areas back behind us here. So our space really helps reflect those key areas of research, education, and collaboration that we work with here at the Lilly Center.
So this sounds like a really intensive, big project that you underwent. And I can imagine that this was something that many donors wanted to see you, the Lilly Center, accomplish.
Yeah.
How did that work?
That was actually a really fun part of my job, because with this dreaming of this new space, I was able to express those plans and those dreams with some of our supporters, and they jumped on board really quick. They saw the vision of what we were trying to accomplish, and so when you walk around our spaces now, you'll see signs from different donors that donated to make those spaces possible. And as I walk around, I have personal relationships with each of those people, and it's kind of fun to like, oh yeah, this person, loves this sort of thing that we do, and so they were excited to give towards that, or this person really wanted to inspire this. And so it's fun to walk around. And
even when you walk into the front doors, your entryway is lined with native plants.
yes,
And that was a passion of a family.
yes.
And it was so important for you to be able to practice what you preach, right?
Yeah. I remember talking to the Dick and Lisa Tietz family about native planting, and they wanted other people to be able to learn from it. So we put some signage out there as well with the different types of plants. And that's a great example for where our supporters have their own things they're passionate about, and when that overlaps some of the fun things that we have a vision for and we want to accomplish, then a gift is made, and they're super excited about it, we're super excited about it, and we can move forward with a really good impact.
And as we're talking, what do you see in the future in the way of how the Learning Lab will evolve and change? How does it fit into the Lake Dr. RX?
Yeah, so as part of Lake RX, and just to remind our listeners and viewers, that's looking ahead towards building prescriptions, individualized prescriptions for our lakes with how to fix the problems that we've identified through our research and educational experience with those water bodies. And so water literacy, and we'll talk about that here in this episode, that's one of those solutions that we see for the problems in our lakes. And so as we continue to lean into water literacy for our community, these spaces become even more important and a key feature of Lake RX as we go forward.
So Emily, part of your work is helping young people in our community understand water literacy. What do you see as a challenge for that?
I think the biggest challenge to that sometimes can be students' own perceptions of the aquatic ecosystems. Way too often I hear apprehensive students, especially during our outdoor hikes. I may or may not have been told, ew, nature's gross, or when can we go home? But I love getting to take them outside and to challenge their perception of what actually is in that water. And it's not just gross, dirty water, but it's a whole ecosystem of living creatures and systems that are working in harmony to support the ecosystem as a whole. Sometimes other challenges can just be misconceptions about the lakes. Students might not be aware of all of the free recreation opportunities that they do have, especially here in Kosciuszko County. We have a lot of public beaches and opportunities for students to get involved. They don't have to have a lake house in order to really enjoy and appreciate our lakes and streams.
Good place to go fishing and swimming
Yes.
and sailing.
Yes,
And even running a kayak on Winona Lake is possible, right?
it is. Winona Lake, Center Lake, I believe, as well, also has lots of rental opportunities.
Yeah, there's actually kiosks that you can
Oh,
get an app on your phone and you can rent those for a certain period of time.
it's a lot of fun.
It is, and thank you for your work on creating water literate students. They may say, "Ooh, those lessons are going to stick with them."
That's
So-
the goal.
Tell us about an interesting thing we have on the table that looks
Yes.
like a really nice award.
Yes, so the Lilly Center has been so honored to be the winner of the Environmental Education and Outreach Award from the Indiana Department of Environmental Management, both in 2019 and in 2025.
So Nate, I think you've got the 2025 award down there.
I do. I'm not quite done
Well,
coloring
it's okay.
here, Susie,
I
so
can hold it
keep
if you
going.
like.
There we go. So this
Isn't that
is
beautiful?
this is something you guys really ought to be extremely like shouting from the mountaintops. So proud of this because it is a governor's award, statewide recognition for the curriculum that you've created.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mhm.
All right. Tell us about what does curriculum mean, and how do you help educators in our community with what you've created in the way of curriculum?
Yeah, when you say curriculum, I just think of the legacy of the educators who have gone before myself. We've had a really, really awesome team of educators at the Lilly Center since 2007. So a lot of the materials that we are using are inspired by the DNR's Project WET or Project Learning Tree. We have a lot of wisdom and expertise from former teachers, former educators who either have volunteered or worked for us. And then we have some really creative interns who also come up with some super fun activities and games. That's a really fun part of the job, is getting to see the next generation of young professionals and their enthusiasm for kids getting outside.
And
So-
that curriculum improves over time.
Yeah.
Right? So as we notice something, maybe we'll get some feedback from a teacher or from one of our college student interns. Hey, what about if we try this? Or maybe if we change it a little bit to this, and then we can make those improvements and they just get better and better.
Yes, we seek to have all of our curriculum align with the Indiana Department of Education's state standards. So that's part of the summer refresh that we get to do every year. We go through and make sure everything is up to date and is fresh with the really helpful feedback we've gotten from, like you said, teachers, our interns, volunteers, our director of education. All of it is super helpful.
So speaking of feedback, you
Yes.
brought some interesting quotes with you.
I did bring some quotes.
Yeah, would you share with the reaction students have to coming here?
Yes. One of my favorite reactions to even being in the building comes from a first grader. And we were talking about role playing as scientists. It was actually in this room in our learning lab. And I wanted to prepare them to be scientists before they went out and looked at our aquariums. So I was telling them that scientists make observations. Observations aren't always our feelings or our opinions. And we know we're making an observation when we start with, I noticed that, and then we share something our senses are telling us. And I had been explaining this and using my own senses, like I noticed that you're wearing a black polo this afternoon. And this little first grader, he didn't raise his hand. He was just so eager. He went, I noticed that this place is awesome.
Uh-huh.
So he was very, very kind. Other kids have lots of opinions and lots of interesting observations, especially when hiking. I once had a third grader go, oh, look, Miss Emily, it's a blue pigeon. I fear he was pointing at a blue heron,
Oh,
but
okay.
he really learned that day. The kids are really sweet in their opinions of us as well. I've been asked, are you a professional at hiking?
Oh,
To which I
wow.
say yes.
Wow.
Until you line up the Colorado 14er. No, not. I love seeing kids try to make connections from what they already know. So I've had a third grader ask me before, Miss Emily, is algae just nature's slime?
Oh,
So that was a great.
how did you answer to that?
Well, I got to answer by saying how it looked kind of slimy, but
Mhm.
really, depending on what kind of algae it was, it might not be connected the way that slime is as a polymer. It might just look like it's connected. But some slime, like the green filamentous algae, that does look very slimy, especially on the surface. A lot of the time, though, they actually see duckweed at our wetland, so we then talked about the difference between algae and duckweed.
Cool.
So you used an interesting word. I can't remember what it is right now.
You're good.
So vocabulary is really important
Yes.
in the work that you're doing with students. And I think you might have brought a vocabulary test for us
I
today.
did.
But this is a higher level, I've heard, Nate.
Yes.
It's not kindergarten level.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Are
It
you
might
guys-
be like 5th grade level.
Yeah, are you guys familiar with the game Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I have just a couple of vocab words that we use with our 5th grade students, both in-house and outside. So this first word, I have pretty high expectations based off of some of our podcast episodes, but what is a wetland?
It is a filter.
Oh, okay.
It
Love
does
that.
filter, yeah.
Do you have a better?
I would say it, as the name would suggest, it's kind of a transitional ecosystem between terrestrial land and then also water. It is going to have water, and so it's going to be wet. We talk about sponges and kidneys. I'll just stop right there because I'm going to go into a whole nother episode on
No, you're all
wetlands,
good.
so-
Okay,
Well,
you got that one.
If you ask 5th graders, they'll tell you it's where Shrek lives. But then we correct them and we say that it is an area of land that is saturated with water. And then we really like to focus on 3 functions that you guys collectively mentioned. It is a water filter, like you said, Susie. It provides flood and erosion control by soaking up that water. And then it also sustains life and furnishes food and habitat for so many different plants and animals. I would give you guys an A+
That's
for
good.
that.
Is she not an enthusiastic
Yes.
instructor?
Yeah.
You know, you start
That's why we
with
hired her,
education.
Susan.
Yeah, good. Okay, next.
The next word is another W word. What is the watershed?
Ah, it's the way the water flows off the land into larger pools of water.
Yeah, you're getting us in the right direction.
Is there more?
I would say it is very specifically the boundary by which all the water that falls within that boundary and ends up at a certain point on the landscape.
That was very much the collegiate answer, but yes, Susie was very close with our 5th grade answer. It's an area of land, kind of like a funnel, and it collects all of that runoff that's running off the land into that common body of water, like you said.
You know, we're on a continental divide.
Yes, we are.
Here.
So there are areas, depending on which way the wind blows, what happens to the water when it's raining.
Right? Whether that goes north up into the Great Lakes and out into the North Atlantic, or whether it goes south into the Tippy River, out the Mississippi, into the Gulf.
Fun facts. Okay.
Those were 2 vocab words that we teach when we're outside hiking with our 5th graders, but when we're inside in the learning lab, like Dr. Bosch mentioned earlier, we'll bring down those extension cords and set them up with student-sized microscopes, and we talk about plankton. Oftentimes, their perception of plankton is solely fueled by SpongeBob. So we teach them what plankton actually is and the 2 different types of plankton. Can you guys tell me what zooplankton is?
So the 5th grade me would have said, that's what whales eat.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
I like that.
Yeah. So I always like to break apart words. And so I think of plankton, which literally means wanderer, and then zoo, which refers to animal. So it's the tiniest little animals that live in our lakes.
Good job, you guys. That's right. They are microscopic organisms that live in the water. They're plankton, so they drift and they can't swim against the water currents. That's right. And sometimes they're that immature stage of even larger plants, or not even plants, larger insects and animals.
I didn't realize that. Good.
All right, last one. Are you guys ready for it? Yes. So we just talked about zooplankton. How about phytoplankton?
So, okay, I'm going to take a lesson from you. I'm going to break down that word.
Okay.
Phyto must mean related to sunlight.
Okay.
Plankton, small. So is it something that is dependent on sunlight to grow?
Yeah, so another word for algae, and it's the tiniest little photosynthesizing organisms. Yeah.
The fifth grade
so-
me didn't know that word.
Yeah.
You're all good. We tell our students that they are microscopic organisms that live in water and create their own chemical energy through photosynthesis.
Okay, now define photosynthesis for our listeners.
Photosynthesis is the process by which plants and plant-like organisms take the sun's light and carbon dioxide and turn it into a form of glucose and water and oxygen.
And that was on an exam back in general
It was.
ecology. Do you still remember that chemical
I
formula?
did. I drew it out. I think I got a couple points. So
Good job. Good job. So the educational programs that you have here for students, you're hoping have a lifelong impact on them. What are your favorite things to do with kiddos?
oh, my favorite things. I ask this all the time to my interns, and I'm like, okay, guys, what was your favorite grade that you had this week? And we really can't land on a favorite grade. We love everybody from the sixth graders to the kindergartners. They all have their strengths and their weaknesses. I personally love getting kids outside. So my favorite programs really are our outdoor hikes. I just love giving kids the space and the time to get outside and to ask any questions they have about those ecosystems and hopefully build that empathy and passion to just spend more time outside. They don't have to memorize every tree that we have along the trail, but I want them to be curious and to appreciate what they have in their own backyard. But with our kindergartners, I have a lot of fun because kindergartners might spend their time coloring, as we did earlier, and you guys will have to stay tuned to see how those turn out. Or they get to be hands-on and meet some of our ambassador animals, and then they wrap up their day by playing a really fun game as they learn about the things living in a lake habitat.
Ah, and how do they learn about those things living in the lake habitat?
Well,
Is that a hands-on?
it is hands-on, and I actually brought an adult-sized version of it for us today. Typically, we have much smaller sensory boxes, but for you guys, I have a larger box, and we're going to see if Dr. Bosch can guess what lake objects he is feeling in the box
Ooh.
today.
There's not going to be any snakes, right?
Probably not.
Okay. If there's a snake, I'm going to scream and run off the set.
I'm getting fired.
Okay, let's get the sensory box out.
Okay.
Is that what we have over here next to it?
You don't get this, but yes.
Okay. This one we can move up.
Yes.
Oh.
So
So do we set it this way so that...
you're going to pull it a little bit further back.
Okay. Okay.
So you
So-
cannot see in
So
the
I
box.
can't see in it,
Can you
but the
see into
camera,
it?
I cannot see.
Okay, good.
I can see kind of shadows through
Can
it,
you
but
be trustworthy today and
yeah.
not?
I'll close my
Okay.
eyes.
So this is a sensory box, and
Yes.
Nate is not going to be able to see what is in the box, so he's just going to have to reach in and touch it and feel
Yes.
and then describe it.
So the way we set it up for our kindergartners is we define what a lake habitat is, and we tell them that a habitat is a home for a plant or an animal that provides the resources that that organism needs. I have in this box some organisms or things from organisms that we would find in a lake habitat, and so you are going to have to guess what you are feeling that
Okay.
would belong in a lake habitat.
In the lake. Okay. I'm closing
Yes.
my eyes.
All right. This is the first item.
Tell me when it's ready.
All right, it is ready for you.
Okay. For those of you who are just listening, I'm putting my hand in a box and I feel a bowl of some sort, and it's
There's
got
something in the
oh
bowl.
gross. It's got some squishy sort of
Then we just got through saying what little kids say, ooh, gross.
adults can say gross too, Susie, okay? All right. So this feels like it could be like fish eggs potentially.
Yeah.
I don't know if they actually are, but they kind of have the feeling of fish eggs, kind of a little bit slimy and gelatinous and moist at the same time. So
That is exactly our goal. Our goal is to replicate fish eggs or tadpoles, and we are not actually using any fish eggs. So
Okay,
these
so
are Orbeez. You can
yeah.
open your eyes.
Okay.
You had your hand.
I was wondering if I could
in.
smell my fingers or not, but I'm glad it's not real fish eggs.
No, it's just Orbeez. Orbeez are a really fun, kindergarten-friendly way to replicate the sensation of feeling
Yeah.
Orbeez. And if it
Yeah.
inspires them to go catch tadpoles later, then I would count that as
really cool.
success.
Yeah.
Great. You ready for our item number 2?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I feel like I need to wipe my hand off.
Well,
I'll be all right.
okay.
Let's move on to the next one.
The second one is in there for you.
Okay.
So Nate has put his hand in the box. He's feeling around.
I don't
and
feel anything.
Really?
Oh, here's something over here. Something really small. Okay. It's very light. And it's got kind of a central sort of spine to it with soft little things going up the side. I would guess this has got to be a feather.
That is correct. I put 2 feathers in there to replicate all the awesome waterfowl that we find around our lakes, whether that's ducks or geese or even a really cool osprey or bald eagle. We want kids to be aware that there are both fish in the lake, tadpoles, and some feathered friends.
Did you know that these feathers, sorry, this is
That's
kind
right.
of aside,
Go for
but
it.
they actually, I don't know what they're called, but all the little fibers that come from that central part on it, there's like Velcro-like fasteners between, such that if you take a feather and you do this, you mess it all up. But then if you run your finger up again, you can get all of those fasteners to refasten together. Sometimes you even see birds doing that when they're what we would call like preening their feathers. They're kind of, moving their
show us that again, Nate. Preen your feathers.
kind of off to the side. And so that's kind of a really cool feature of feathers.
Maybe we should let Susie have the feathers.
Okay.
I don't want her to feel left out.
Oh, I don't feel left out.
This one's
I've
really soft.
loved feathers. And
This one's soft and it's pretty. I think it might have come
Oh, this one's
from-
kind of has an iridescence to it.
Yes. Okay.
beautiful.
Couple more items. So while
Okay.
you're looking at the feather, I'll put the next one in.
Okay.
Got his eyes closed.
Yep.
It's ready
Oh,
for
I
you.
know what this
Ready?
is.
Okay. Okay, this is something that much harder than the other things. It's got a little bit of weight to it, kind of circular, smooth side and a rougher side. It feels like it's got to be some sort of a mussel shell.
Yes, that is exactly right. So if you haven't seen the freshwater mussel episode yet, you should. We have a freshwater mussel in the box. And we tell kids how important these are because they are filter feeders, which is a very big word for kindergartners, I will admit. But we use it to talk about how they can get teeny tiny pieces of food out of the water and they are still able to eat, even though we can't see them eating. They're taking those teeny tiny plankton and gobbling it up.
Yeah, so those phytoplankton, like we just talked about, is
Yeah.
one of our vocab words.
You suppose she did that on purpose?
Probably. She is a professional educator, so.
That's exciting.
All right, I have 3 more items. Are you up for
Okay.
it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I don't want to make noise. Okay, that might have given it away. But I was just moving the shell. You can feel.
Okay. All right. Here's the next thing. Okay. This also is a little heavier. It has a smooth side, 2 smooth sides. On the inside, I can feel something that's kind of like vertebrae. So I'm guessing this is a turtle shell.
It is a turtle shell. We are blessed to have several different turtle shells, and we love using them to talk to kids about turtles. It kind of displaces their inclination to just pick up any turtle that they find anywhere, because oftentimes they could be endangered. But if we let them get as hands-on and touchy-feely as they want with a shell, they will kind of have that curiosity abated, and
Oh, that's a
they'll
good
be able to
idea.
remember it
Yeah.
for themselves in a safer way.
Right. And we also had an episode we've had actually several episodes dealing with turtles. So people can look those back up if they want to learn more about turtles.
Turtles are a kindergarten favorite. They get to
Okay.
meet Meatball, our painted turtle, on their visit, and it's so much fun. I love
And they
seeing their
understand
reaction.
when they leave not to pick up a turtle and take it home.
They do. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Item number 5.
Okay.
Made a lot of noise. Pretend it didn't.
Oh my golly.
We're putting it the right side up to you.
Yep,
Okay.
that's good. Don't look.
You
Nate.
are all ready.
Hey, I put my hand in there now.
Yes.
something almost like papery. It's flexible. It's kind of has some texture on the one side more than the other. It's
I
almost
can
like
see
some
it.
sort of a
But I don't know what it is.
skin or almost feels a little bit like cardboard. I would have to guess that it's the skin of some sort of organism, maybe fish, but I'm not exactly sure.
Yes, you can open. I want you to be able to see this one.
Oh yeah,
We
that's a
have
carp.
a preserved piece of fish scales, and it probably was from a carp. Luckily for the kids, though, we don't have to dive too much into invasive species at kindergarten, but we can talk about how fish have scales to help protect them. So we do have a piece of fish carp skin that's been
really cool.
preserved for us. I don't love the feeling of it myself, but it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Emily, since you've been doing this for a bit, kids that you've had in kindergarten maybe have come back as second graders or fifth graders.
Yeah.
What can you say about their experience that as they mature on water literacy?
I can say that I have seen them come back year after year, and they have remembered vocab words that we've mentioned, or they are excited to partake in our hands-on experiences. I'll have second graders walk in the door and they're so excited to see the fish again, and they know they're going to do something with coloring and the VA, but then we add those little twists and those little changes to make it more grade appropriate, and they are able to apply concepts that they had already learned or are maybe a little familiar with and just build upon it even more. And that's been really rewarding.
Yeah, we know from educational research that people learn by connecting new concepts to things that they already have some sort of framework of in their lives.
We
And
hope
so,
our listeners are doing that.
Yeah,
People like Dr. Podcast.
exactly.
Yes?
So when there's a experience that's memorable, that sort of hands-on activity, and then you connect with it some of this information, then that information will be remembered better because that activity or that experience was worthy of remembering.
It's kind of like cementing it.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Yeah.
describe it. Yeah.
Sure. Well, do you feel brave enough for one last
Okay,
item?
sure. I've got my
Perfect.
eyes closed, ready for the last one.
Ready for the last one. All right, it's in there.
Susie is making some laughing noises, so this feels crinkly and soft and that's definitely snake skin.
Yes.
But
we
it's
have
not a
love-
snake, it's a shed.
It's just a
skin.
shed. A little
Okay.
donation from Gwen.
Wow, okay.
So sorry. Sometimes we do have water snakes in and around.
I even asked about the snake thing and
I didn't lie.
all right.
It's not a snake. So, do kids encounter snakes when they're outdoors?
Yes, we have encountered some girder snakes when we were hiking. I wasn't quick enough to catch it last time I saw one, but we do sometimes encounter them. We're much more likely to encounter frogs and turtles, especially on our on-campus wetland, which is where most of our outdoor hikes take place. It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
Have you gotten to walk those trails recently?
no.
Oh, well, you should. They're beautiful.
I should have gone wading with your group most recently, but someday
Yes.
we'll do that.
Yes.
This whole project, this whole Lilly Center, Emily's work, it's an investment.
Mm-hmm.
What do you see as a way that volunteers or people can help with your investment in this work?
Well, volunteering is one key way. As Emily mentioned before, we have over 10,000 student connections every year, and we have professional staff like Emily, and we have student staff, many interns like she used to be when she was a college student, but that's not enough. That's not enough to have a meaningful experience for those students that come to our programs. We need additional volunteers to really help hit these messages home, to help facilitate these as safe experiences, as hands-on experiences, as we've been talking about. And so we love having volunteers come in, community members. They might not be expert educators, but they enjoy learning themselves. They have some extra time that they can give. And they have a lot of fun. They come back again and again, and we try to appreciate them well and show that they are an important team member here of the Lilly Center. Though they're not paid, they are really important to our work. And so I think volunteering is one. I think financially investing is another way that people can get involved with educational things. The equipment that we have, the supplies that we have, the salaries for our staff members, those are all things that cost money, and we have many wonderful donors who help and organizations that grant dollars to us to help with those things, but we could always use more to impact additional K-12 students throughout our community.
So Emily, if I were interested in volunteering, or if one of our listeners or viewers is interested in volunteering, how much time would they need to commit? Do you provide training? And how do I do that? How do I connect with you?
Yeah, well, to start by connecting with us, you can go to our website and follow the links there to get in touch. And then as for the time commitment, it can be however much time you can invest. I mentioned earlier that our field trips are 3 times a week during the school year, but we have some volunteers who prefer to commit to maybe only every other Wednesday during the school year. We have other volunteers who prefer to only work with older students. And we even have volunteers who share with us that they have a specialty in one field or in one age range, and we seek to put them with those groups as best as we can. After getting in contact, there will be a series of trainings, and they would never be just thrown into the deep end. They would get a lot of support and opportunities to build their confidence before they were
Love the water
themselves.
analogy. They aren't going to throw you in the
Yes.
deep end if you volunteer. You're going to get some life preservers first,
Yes.
and maybe a waiter, and then deep end.
That's what I tell my interns too. I'm like, don't worry, you don't have to speak for 30 minutes right away. You get to just start by helping and getting used to the flow of our field trips. That's a lot of fun.
Oh, that is really amazing work. So I think, is there anything that we missed? Anything you want to share with our listeners, our viewers?
I would just say that getting kids outside and getting kids interested in the outdoors is only going to bless our future. All of these kids are either going to stay in the area or move away to a different area, but the concepts they're learning at the Lilly Center serve them regardless of their ecosystem, because as we've said many times, these are our future city council members. These are our future business people, future business owners, future wastewater treatment facilitators, future community members in general. And if they have that knowledge, that empathy, and just a degree of passion for taking care of the awesome resources they have, it is going to serve the greater community so well.
Yeah, I would say naturally as a society, our knowledge is decreasing about water concepts, and yet the threats to our waterways are increasing. And so that makes this water literacy work that much more critical, especially in an area here of northern Indiana where we're blessed with so many lakes and so many streams. It becomes critical that we invest in our future citizens in that way.
Emily, thank you so much. But tell us now about our project.
Well, I can see that we have made some beautiful pieces of art here. Let's show the viewers what we've created. So Susie, can you hold yours up? As you can see, she made sure to put her name on there, which is always important.
My
Very
Susie
artistic.
psychedelic fish.
I love it. How much yours?
Mine's a little bit more muted in its colors
Ooh, I like it.
because I was listening to your instructions about camouflage.
Yes.
So
Good job. We have some blue-tinted crayfish in our aquarium lab. It's very pretty.
Well, let's see yours.
All right, here's mine. I had a bass. I tried to include his scales and his lateral line. So,
She knows fish.
yeah, wow.
I try. Before we wrap up today, should we add them to our virtual aquarium like the kids do on their field trips?
Yes, please, let's do.
All right, let's do that. All right, you guys excited to see your creations come to life?
Yes,
Yes.
Emily, please.
Okay.
So we do.
Well, here are our beautiful fish. Oh, yours upside down. Mine is upside down, but it's not going to be upside down when we go in. We have our virtual aquarium here, which was the first freshwater virtual aquarium created just for us from an awesome software company out of Florida. So after kids and yourselves have decorated their fish we add our name to it, and then we add it to the virtual aquarium to see them come to life. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Susie.
I'll go
All right,
first.
let's add your picture.
My psychedelic
We have a
fish.
camera that looks down. It will scan those QR codes, and out comes.
Oh, that looks good.
Look at that.
Let's see how this
Good
one.
swimmer.
And you'll see that the program has been designed to have the fish mimic its real life behavior. So these perch, these bass, the sunfish, they're gonna stay kind of in that mid-level of the water column.
Here comes Emily's perch.
Yeah, I think I had a bass.
Oh, bass.
If we had a pike, it would stay way up near the top, but let's see where Dr. Nate's crayfish goes. It's
gonna come out here.
It's so camouflaged. We'll have to really open our eyes.
So are those the pike up there?
Yes, those are the pike up there. And here it
Oh, look,
comes.
it's so the legs are moving.
That's great.
And as you'll see, it will touch down and enjoy its other crayfish friends at the bottom of the lake. So this is a great opportunity to talk to kids about how their creations are mimicking real life fish swimming in our local lakes and our local streams.
Do the kids get really excited about seeing their names on the
They love it. They like run up to the front of the room. They beg their teachers to take pictures. They create storylines for their fish. They'll be like, "Oh, look, Michaela, my fish and your fish are best friends in real life." And then they get very, very sad when they have to say goodbye to the fish too. They're like, they want to stay forever.
So this program was created for you, first of its kind.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
This is an awesome educational tool to help create water literate citizens.
Yeah, it's.
Thank you, Emily. Thank you, Dr. Nate.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Thank you very much for joining us for the Lake Doctor podcast. Please make sure they're sharing this, commenting. Let us know what more you'd like to see. Have a great day, and we'll see you next time. The doctor is in.